Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Pathways to Excellence. Today we have with us the inimitable Elisa See. Did I pronounce that correctly? Elisa See?
Okay, yeah.
Elisa
Elisa.
See. Elisa is one of Malaysia's four Harvard admits this year, joining the class of 2028. Congratulations on your incredible achievements right there. And yeah, I see that you have the whole hashtag Harvard swag on.
Yeah, it's really cute. So I like refused to buy merch until I found out I got in because like what if I had it and I didn't get in, right? Like what was I gonna do? So like the day I got in, I'm buying all the merch. I have like three hoodies now. This is one of them.
But if you bought the merch, then like, did you like go over to America? It's like, oh my gosh, mom, dad, I got into Harvard. Let's go! And you just like straight up flew over to America, and then just be all like, okay, let's buy all the hoodies right here. Or I don't know, like, what was the arrangement?
Oh no, I wish. So basically there's like the online store, and then if you got in, they sent you like a discount code. So I think it was 25% off or something and free shipping. So I got it that way.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you have your merch right now, and all is well. But anyway, so Elisa, maybe we can like go ahead and get started right here. And once again, congratulations on your achievement. So it's surely not an easy thing to get into Harvard, and I think that you got in early as well, right? Like during the early action round.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I found out in December.
in December. Wow, cool. So like just like a really intuitive first question right here, but how did life change like right after you found out essentially, boom, girls go to Harvard?
Um, I mean, I guess the most obvious thing was like I didn't really have to worry about uni anymore. I was like, right, I'm set. And then I got my financial aid package. I think like early January. So once that was in, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. I'm sorted. Like everything's chill. So I had a lot more time to just sort of do what I wanted to do versus like
Mm,
obviously before uni apps I was doing like online courses and whatever was cool. But during uni app season, I had to like give up that time to like write essays and all the US supplements and whatnot.
mhm.
But now, like I started some quantum mechanics course from MIT online just because I have the time now, which is really nice.
Wow, just casually like, by the way, like now I have some time and it's time to study quantum mechanics.
I did that just because my teacher in chemistry basically we had like a lesson about like energy, right? And he
Yeah.
was like flexing his quantum on this, and like because I'm like kind of like friendly with the teacher, and he like flexes. I'm like, you can't be flexing. Like I need to be on your level, so that's why I'm doing the course.
By the way, here is a new paper in New Rips, teacher, and then next thing you know that you take over the class. Like, wonderful, love it, love it. But Lisa, I mean, well, speaking of things to do, I mean, like, you're certainly a woman of many hats right there, if we can say that. But you essentially started an international model United Nations thing right there, casually recruiting interns, doing online MUN, EcoSocs, like the delegate of Cameroon wishes to move the resolution, amongst other things. I have no idea if that actually happened in one of your conferences, but I did model United Nations at some point too, so I have some awareness. And then there's UNDI 18, the legendary initiative, which essentially allows for voter registration automatically. And then, of course, there's also Wiki Impact. Why politics is definitely something that is very familiar to many of us right there. Fourth Academy Media. And what else is there? Oh yes, you have an affiliate code for our test. I'm sorry.
Like disgusting. Oh my god.
I'm sorry. But yeah, girl, by the way, has a 1600 for the SAT. Damn, like that, amazing.
I'm not
How?
like all plugs. Oh my god.
Wait, but wait, but like like quantum mechanics, like 1600. I don't know. Like you seem to be like a creature from Earth, but like not quite from Earth, right there. What explains your, shall we say, like diverse interests and like that sort of like push to the point whereby like many things seem to come to pass.
I don't know actually. I feel like because like I've had a lot of my friends who like I remember like I hated this in like prep school, so primary school for me. Like they were like, oh, I really like English or oh, I really like math. And I was just sort of like, well, you're both kind of chill. Like I didn't really love either of them, but I was just kind of like vibing, I guess. And I feel that's kind
Ah.
of what I still do now. Like I'm just sort of vibing between different things. Like part of it's because I don't really know what I want to do in the future, like completely. Like I know politics is something I want to do, but that's so like diverse, right? Like you could go to an NGO,
Ah.
whatever. Like And I feel like a big part of that as well with like some politicians, Donald Trump. I feel like you actually understand what's going on. Like, wasn't he trying to say the Lord's Prayer or something? He just said, I love all the Bible verses. Like, I don't know. I feel like you need to actually understand what's going on if you want to study the politics. I guess that's kind of why doing a bit of tech stuff, doing a bit of like math, why not, and some econs and whatever. Like, it's a good base, I guess.
Ah, interesting. Okay then. Could you maybe share a little bit about, I guess, like your early educational background, like what eventually formed you into like the Elisa See of today?
Well, I mean, I've been stuck at Marlborough. Well, not stuck. I love it, but like I've been stuck there for like 11 years. So since I was 7, I joined, which was in year 3. And I literally graduated this Friday, which is insane thinking about it. Like I don't think I
Wow.
still accepted the fact like I'm gone now. Like that's mad. But I feel sort of being in that same environment, right? When like there's so much constant around you. I guess I felt like there was no change that was going to be sort of thrown in my way. Like I know people go secondary school, you like had to get change, right? But like there was no change for me per se, so I had to go like actively find things to like, make things interesting. So like I think one of my friends dragged me along to MUN. That's how I got into it in the first place. Basically because we were both bored. Like there was a weekend that we just had nothing to do, and she's like, "Let's go." I was like, "I bet." So we went to MUN, and that went. And I feel like just being stuck in that one environment, right? Like there's so
Mhm.
little that you can do to make it different that you just kind of go, "I will go."
Okay. Wow. So the same school, essentially for like all that while kind of thing. That's interesting. Huh. So like, I guess like, well, maybe it's like kind of weird to even ask it in this way, considering that the environment was something that was such a big part of your life. But what was school like for you?
Okay, so I started off as like a day student, so like I went
Yeah, yeah.
home every day for ages. But in
Mhm.
year 11, I think. Okay, so this is the funny like divergence, but basically, there was a Christmas party, but you couldn't go unless you were a boarding student. I wanted to go to the Christmas party, so I was like, I'm gonna travel board for a week because my friends were at the party because they all boarded. So I went to travel board for a week, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go to the Christmas party and then come back home and live life. I enjoyed it a bit too much, so I stayed in boarding. So now like school is home. So it's kind of like this weird mix, right? Because like obviously you go to class, but then there's no class and you're still in school somehow. And now you're with your friends and you're like doing like paper around for no reason, or like you're doing crazy stuff in school. And I guess that sort of made like it's made school a
Ah.
lot more enjoyable, I guess. Cause like even like now when I'm in the classroom, like I'm still mucking around with my friends a lot more just because I know the place even better. Cause like there's like, oh, there's like that little secret bit that like no one really realized before. But I guess living it
Ah.
changed that.
Wow, like discovering all the little secret things here and there. Um, so then if you don't mind my asking, so then like you graduated just a while ago, but are you still, for example, staying in dorm accommodations?
Oh, right. So I'm home now because it's the Easter break, but my final IB exams are gonna be like the end of April to early May. So I'm gonna go back to school for that. And then
Ah, I see.
finish, then I'm done.
Cool, 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 cool. Yes. The International Baccalaureate. Ah, now that's a fun one right there. Yeah, yeah, so like I am guessing that basically you have okay, maybe I will not guess, but within 5 seconds, what is your favorite IB subject for
Well,
three?
global politics.
Global politics. Wow. I mean, that kind of makes sense, given what I do know, why politics and everything right there, but what makes it your favorite?
To be fair, I do enjoy most of my IB subjects, but I think the main difference with global politics is there's a large component of like out the classroom stuff. So like one of our coursework projects was basically over
Hmm.
summer you had like an NGO, or like some sort of like politics related thing, and then write a report about it about like what you learned from that. And like
Hmm.
the fact that it's such like a big part of the course, not just like you sit in a room, you read a textbook, and like that's basically what every other like subject is, right? Like in chemistry, you're not in the lab, well you are, but like you aren't going to like a big lab. You're literally watching videos of someone doing experiments or writing about it. Same for like history for everything else. But like Glopo's so like in the moment, which I think I quite enjoy because like, I actually got to do
Mm. Ah, I see. Interesting. Well, That being said, though, so this idea of like going beyond the classroom, definitely, I guess, kind of permeates into, I guess, a bunch of different other things as well. Of course, like there's the why politics thing, and may I ask, if perhaps you're interested in studying potentially politics at Harvard as well when you eventually go there?
Yeah, so I'm planning on having my concentration, which is your major in government, and then my
Mm.
minor in either computer science or economics, but we'll see what happens.
Hashtag bless. Okay, great. All right then. So, kind of drilling in on that. So, like, you have a universe of different possibilities, right? Of like different things that you could potentially be good at. You literally just threw out the whole. I'm taking a quantum mechanics course out there at the start of our conversation. Anything is fair game by this point, at least. So, but of the literal universe of different possibilities out there. So then, why do you feel that government is something that appeals on an intellectual level to you?
I feel part of it is I'm considering law school, like it's not a set thing, but I feel government's quite a good foundation. Like it's the one they recommend you to do. But also like from like me enjoying it now sort of thing. It's one of the subjects when it's based a lot on like what you read in the news and then you sort of analyze it, but it's not just through government. Like yeah, you use all the theories like liberalism, whatever you learn, but you also use like random economics or you talk a bit about like technology or you talk a bit about like basically anything else. And the fact you
Mm,
can do that and it's so like basically made for that. I feel like it was made for me because like I can't like niche myself into one thing fully. I don't feel.
I see. Would you share then how the constellation of different ELISA activities in relation to government kind of like come together to form like that picture? Because like I see like a bunch of random things like basically on your Instagram profile, but I don't actually know how they fit together. Maybe like could you share like how like those things like kind of run together?
I'm gonna be like 100% honest. When I started doing stuff, I was kind of just going, yeah, let's do it. It wasn't a very planned out thing. Like I know I saw like on TikTok people applying to uni. They have like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I was like, yeah,
Uh,
well, that's kind of boring. So we didn't do that. But I think writing my essays and everything, like having to make it fit into narrative, sort of showed me that there is, I guess, kind of a link that maybe I wasn't conscious with when I was doing it.
mm,
Um, but I feel a big thing for me was like social media activism, mainly because I spend a lot of time on my phone and like I want a good reason, you know, like I can't just be looking at cat memes. So like I feel that through like that, I sort of realized well, like that's how you reach most people like my age. Like we're not gonna be looking at the New York Times like regularly, apart from like Wordle, but like no one's gonna be going on and reading the news. And I feel like sort of drawing people in is the first step because I used to like never really care about the news until like, I think I did my MUN because my friend dragged me along, and then I started reading up on it. But like
mm,
not everyone's gonna get a friend dragging them along. So I feel maybe having social media is like one way to hook them in. Because like what I
mm,
try to do is have sort of trends and then you like use
mm,
the trend, you link politics to it, and people are like, wait, what's going on? And then you go look into it, and then that's how you get people interested in it, I feel,
mm,
instead of like because I feel like if you hard sell it, right, and you just go, oh, you have to listen to politics, you have to care, no one's gonna listen to you. So I feel
mm.
that that's sort of a more appealing way of doing it.
I see. Okay then. Then I guess you mentioned earlier that okay, sure, like it's kind of like random, like you went for an MUN conference and stuff of that nature right there. But I guess what got you interested in the news in the very first place? Because you see, like there are two different things here, right? Like wanting to share stuff about the news, but then there's also that sort of like core interest, that kind of thing. Like was it something to do with the way that I guess like your parents had maybe like habits like related to reading the news or stuff of that nature, or was it kind of like, oh, I tripped, I fell, I found a newspaper, and now suddenly I am 50 pages in, and there weren't even 50 pages in that newspaper, it was another newspaper, and suddenly now I know everything about the entire Constitution of the United States.
I wish I could say the second one because that sounds really cool, but like, the first.
All right.
So I think, well, as soon as I remember like being a kid, like my parents would like always buy the newspaper. It was like those big like broadsheet ones, and like the ink would get everywhere because I would touch it and it would smudge my fingers and I'd smudge my face with it, and it was black ink. And I feel it's just been such a big part of like my life growing up. My parents always reading the news, and so
Mm,
telling me random stories they read in the news, and just through that, I was like, well, it's part of
mm.
life. And then they told me you have to read the news, and I was like, okay, I'm reading the news, and I guess it's happened.
I see. Okay. Okay, so maybe if you could share with me, so you've done like International Model United Nations, and then but how would you say that you're involved in well in the 18, why politics and some of the other things as well?
Um, okay, so Undi 18 was I think the first internship I did. And like around this time I was thinking like, oh, I should probably get an internship. Like it'll be good to get one. But like I never really knew how to go about getting one. Especially like politics, right? Like if I felt like if you didn't really know anyone, it was gonna be quite
Mm.
difficult. But I was scrolling on Instagram. And I found like an advert. I think at the time it was like perfect timing because I was thinking about it. I was like ranting to my friends about it, and then I saw the ad in my thing. It was like, we're hiring content creation interns for Under 18. I was like, oh damn, no way. So I applied. And I didn't really expect to get it because I think it mentioned sort of they preferred uni graduates, like uni students. I was like, you're not gonna take me, like I'll apply for jokes. But then I applied, I got an interview, and then my manager at the time, Aislinn, was really sweet, and then she took me on and then sort of gave me the confidence, I guess, to like try for more internships after. So like even if they next time like Wiki Impact and whatever, YPOL, I think they also
Mm.
uni graduates. But I was like, well, I'll just like send a little email and try my best, and it all worked out. So I guess just
Mm.
spam people and it works.
Okay, spam people and it works. It's kind of how, like, I ended up finding you as well. Only to realize that somehow or another you were already watching my video. So, like, it's like, who found who in reality?
Just follow my I got in just so you would interview me. That was the only reason I applied 100%.
Oh, thank you. This is a hashtag validation right here. But okay, cool. Yeah, so that being said, so lots of really random things right here and there. And yeah, speaking of internships, so of course, there's a there's a very interesting internship that you did recently, and that was essentially with YB Michelle right there. Hello, YB Michelle. How's it going? Your intern is going places. But what was that like?
Um, okay, this was another one of my sort of being sort of delusional and trying things out happened. So I think a friend dragged me along for like a volunteer to help pass out like some flyers for like a walkabout that she was doing during the state elections. And I was like, well, if I just go up to her and ask if I can get an internship, surely she'll say yes. So I did after like 30 minutes of following her around looking kind of silly. And then she did say yes, and I literally had to start the next day. And it was really cool because I didn't expect that to happen, right? Because I had a different internship at the time, which was like just gonna finish, but I was gonna come back
Ah,
to JB because I was in KL for that period. Then she
ah.
said yes, and we're like, oh God, we need to like figure out what we're doing. So I stayed there for like a bit until I come back to school. And then I stayed literally the day of election results, and then I had to go home. But we won, and then like we went to like some well, she won, and like I like to pretend it was a we won, but like then we went to the fancy event, and it was really cool. There was like like TV cameras and whatever, and like we went on stage with her for a bit. It was really cute.
Uh, okay, wow. What was it like experiencing the kind of like day to day of shall we say hashtag local government right there? I mean, like, I have a very like small inkling of what that might be like. Just because I sat in on a meet the people session right there. Rajiv, if you're out there, it was this right here. But okay, before we even get into that, but like, kind of, what was the kind of sort of like, like day to day, like, like just being all like, yes, I will save the world through local government.
So I guess I feel like a big part, like everyone's obsessed with like the national government, right? And like the big parts of government. But I think I didn't realize before like I got the internship how much like local governments do. And also like YB Michelle was so like I don't know, I feel like there was this sort of charisma she had that like people that came to like she like people gravitated to her. And like when she talked to them, like you could see she was really listening and like they felt heard. And like I don't know, I feel like part of that showed me that like small acts of service, I guess, like even then are like significant. And like I mean obviously everyone knows that, but like until you sort of
Mm,
see the sort of impact, that's like damn, you know.
mm,
And I
mm,
think at like the office I got like a bit of like an experience of that, like obviously not to the same extent, but like I was basically thrown into like answering phone calls from like random people. Like people would come into the office, and those times it was
mm,
like there's three of us at the front desk and there was like 10 people in the room, and we were like trying to like manage everyone. But
mm,
there was one time in particular, there was one lady who like was really struggling. So I think it was like a funeral benefit. And then she was
mm,
obviously like her husband passed away, and sort of being able to like help her and like make the process as stress-free as possible for her, I think was just really nice. And like seeing how the impact of like little actions from the government can sort of support people, I think inspired me to like be like involved in politics a bit more.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, cool. Now, kind of zeroing in on that. So, in a conversation, so you mentioned that some of your Harvard essays, or perhaps it was one Harvard essay, was inspired by a particular incident that, well, I don't want to say we encountered because like we encountered this particular individual on separate occasions, but well, you have a bigger picture of like the story than I do. So like yeah, so like what was that experience like, and how was it related, in fact, to I guess your time at YB Michelle's office?
So this was my second day in the office, and like I was like kind of figuring out what's going on, but like I wasn't connected to the printer yet. Like I was still stressing out, trying to figure out the phone work and everything. And then in comes this lady, and she just I think I went to the toilet for a bit, and I came back in, and I come in, and I hear someone screaming, and I'm like, okay, and then oh my god, the voice crack. But she was sort of screaming. I was like, what the hell is going on? Um, and I sort of like there was like all the interns, we sort of went into like a little corner by ourselves, like behind the door kind of, and we're like, what? And then I think afterwards I found out actually it happened a lot, but it inspired one of my Harvard essays. So with all my Harvard essays, I took sort of a goofy approach, I would say, and sort of went a bit unhinged.
Please say more if you can.
And
All the kids out there are just like taking notes right there and like
oh yeah, if you want to get into Harvard, guys, just be a bit unhinged. I mean, one of my essays was literally about Harry Styles and how I think he looked at me at a concert, and I mean, it works. So like,
okay.
I
All
mean,
right.
kind of plug as well. I have my TikTok with all my essays on ELISAS_Y. Go check it out. Give me a follow. All that.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, I saw
But
that. More to discuss a little later as well. Yes, follow her.
um,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, 100%. But basically, the essay started with like basically a woman walking in and yelling, and then my reaction to that, and sort of how that led me to like read a bit more about some philosophy and sort of the government's duties. And I feel like yeah, just be a bit unhinged with your essays. Like start with something a bit crazy, especially if like does prompt something deeper. Because I think through that, like obviously the particular individual was troubled in different ways.
Hmm.
And I feel like there was stuff that could be explored about why that was happening and sort of what should have been done to like help her, I guess. And that sort of inspired my essay.
Wow, interesting. Now, all right, drawing to the common experience for a moment. So then, okay, like the reason I have this common experience with Elisa right here is that basically YB Rajiv invited me to his office just randomly after an event, and then he was just like he was rather cryptic basically, and effectively yeah, so like the people in the office were saying I was an intern, but I was actually not an intern. I was like a fake intern. I I was literally asked to sit on the couch and then basically observe this one guy who came in basically with his little like restaurant proposal. He has this whole card. He has like folders. Basically, it's like, hey, YB, do you want to invest in my restaurant? That kind of thing right there. YB's like, oh, okay, chakaman, yo. Well, he doesn't actually speak Korean, but he just like casually steps out for a while. And I'm like, okay, just sitting there right there. The man is just like casually staring intensely at his documents. I'm like, just pause for a while. Oh, be like, hello. How are you, or something of that nature right there. Gosh, like you Chicago social awkwardness just casually coming out right there. But anyway, then he's like, oh, okay, who are you? Then basically somebody said, oh, like, oh, he's an intern, don't pay it any mind right there. But within 5 minutes, then the jig is up. Like unfortunately, if I'm in a situation where I'm like forced to lie, then I will not. But anyway, so I sat down basically just for the next, I think, 1 hour or so until, so like dealing with a variety, well, watching YB Rajiv deal with a variety of like different things right there until the very same lady basically came in. And why do I know that this is the exact same lady? Because in the middle essentially of the conversation right there, during which she highlighted a variety of different things. Of course, I'm not going to give any like personally disclosing information right here, um which hinge around like a question of, like, for example, stolen identity and various other things that could not actually really be verified. admittedly, like in the middle of the conversation, I might have actually felt like that there might have been something to it. But then YB Rajiv called YB Michelle, your boss at the time, and then right after, then he basically said, "I'm going to offer you therapy." It was kind of savage at the time, but yeah, it was kind of savage. That same lady, was there perhaps before your internship. Perhaps she is there now, and perhaps you will continue doing, the thing right there. But I'm curious, actually. What kinds of reflections do you feel that that experience catalyzed in you? And like, what did it make you think about government at large and its role in helping an individual like that?
I'm gonna try and answer it without going in detail, so that's gonna be difficult.
Okay.
But well, I feel the first thing was obviously sort of, I guess part of it was I feel the lashing out might have come from feeling that the government wasn't like taking it seriously, right? And she sort of wanted not attention, but sort of wanted sort of proof the government would like do something, I guess. So part of that was maybe like more ways to show different communities that the government's connected to you. And I feel like YB Michelle did that really well. But like I think more just in general, like that's something the government can focus on, especially like youth disillusionment, right? And I'm thinking more like in the West when they feel politicians aren't listening. I feel like this sort of results in people doing sort of attention seeking type things. But also I feel, especially within Asia, I feel there's sort of this sort of like therapy is like stigmatized, I guess, right? And I mean like it was savage, but also like possibly a valid suggestion.
Mm,
And I feel sort of governments need to do a lot more like he. So I know like we decriminalize suicide, which is a good step. Like YB Michelle, I think, was involved with that. But I feel sort of more steps, not just make it not a bad thing, but it's like make it an okay thing, like a good thing, something that I feel people should be doing. I
mm,
feel government could be a lot more involved in.
I see. Okay, interesting. I guess when thinking about some of the things that you've seen so far, do you have like any particular kind of like policy suggestions or like ideas for how you might potentially want to change, not necessarily like Malaysia or anything else of that nature, but like we live in a society that can have its good moments. Sometimes it can have its bad moments. There have been a couple good moments in the recent past, but also some bad moments, which of course the audience can go right ahead and research if they're interested in. But I guess like thinking then about some of the things that I guess like you've learned about or that you've experienced so far, I guess, do you have any like particular ideas in policy or government that you feel would be things, right, that you might consider to be desirable to be implemented, I guess, in this world as of this moment?
So actually one thing that's really close to my heart is sort of helping refugees in Malaysia. So this
Mm-hmm.
starts with my the global politics research thing I was talking about. So I did some work at a refugee school and I helped teach them debate and stuff. And sort of do that, I sort of saw how surprisingly the UN, well, it's not to blame, but I feel the UNHCR and this sort of confrontational approach, I guess, towards like trying to change Malaysia's policy might have been part of the issue. And to sort of like, well, it's a really difficult topic, right? But to like give like the little summary, I guess, of my perspective of it was from talking to some MPs, especially, like they felt that the UN was sort of ignoring things Malaysia was doing. Yeah, like obviously it wasn't perfect. We're not party to the refugee convention, but there's some help for like economic support for refugees. And I guess, well, it sounds common sense to say it, but like if you try and IGOs and sort of like I guess Western type organizations try and work with governments, especially like in regions different to them, and sort of find ways to collaborate. For instance, like instead of saying, "Oh, you have to ratify the Refugee Convention," try and encourage like partnerships like they're doing now, and sort of helping refugees through that means. And well, I'm kind of rambling, but basically, I mean, sort of if let's say Malaysia wants to focus on like economic development, right? Because I think that's quite big, having sort of progressive realization type approach when you make development like work with refugees, like helping them get jobs in sectors where you're not stealing jobs per se, but sort of contributing instead to the economy and making it sort of positive sum. So everyone benefits from it and sort of finding ways to do that instead of perhaps just trying to force like, oh, you have to sign an international convention sort of thing. I guess a more flexible approach.
Ah, I see. Cool, cool, cool. Wonderful. Mm, all right then. And kind of then drawing things over, right? So again, so we kind of like spoke about like the possibility of multiple paths earlier. So then of course, if somebody's interested in politics, so then you could potentially imagine that somebody might become, I don't know, like an Adam Adli, a shall we say female Anwar Ibrahim delivering charamas right in the middle of like the field right there, and then basically yeah, like getting the entire crowd to rise, making essentially politics your entire personality or various other things of that nature. I don't know, but of the different, I guess, possibilities that you were essentially considering, I guess what led to, I guess, an education in the US and Harvard in particular as well?
Okay, well, there's two parts to that. I'm gonna answer the Harvard US bit first. I feel that's the easier part.
I'm
This
freakishly smart and I'm built different. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
I
sorry.
wish.
Same SAT score as Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates. Whoa.
Oh my God.
Sorry. But all right. Destabilization complete. All right.
Okay.
We're ready.
The actual reason is because, well, the whole thing about sort of not liking a niche, right? And I feel, well, the two main options I was considering was US or UK. But in the UK, like when I was trying to apply, like the first thing that like made me really annoyed was like having to choose a course, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. So I ended up going for PPE because like it like led me some like leeway to make choices whilst I was studying. But like I didn't like that much because like what do you mean I can never do like science again for me? Like, I don't know. To me, that was just like a deal breaker, basically. It was a red flag. And
Mm.
after that, I decided to go for the US mainly because of the liberal arts thing. And I guess Harvard. So this is kind of a silly reason. But there's two bits. So first, I saw Suits, and I was like, I'm gonna go to Harvard Law School because they look badass. Second reason, which I think is a bit more legitimate, was that I did an online course. I think when I was in year 10 maybe, and it was by some like professor at Harvard, and it was about like the US government, like the constitution and whatever, and like sort of that, and then it went into social media and politics at the end. And I sort of just really liked the way he delivered it because it felt like a conversation, like it felt like a high school class. It's like obviously my classes were really small size, so I get to like chat with the teachers and sort of like have fun in it as well. And the
Mm.
one thing I was really scared about in uni was sort of going and then like they just yap at you the whole time. Like I don't think I could sit and listen to some guy yap at me for an hour straight without feeling like I was involved in it. And I don't
Mm.
know, just even like online when like there was no interaction, it was a video and I felt engaged in it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to Harvard. That feels right.
I see, I see. Cool. All right. Well, what was that moment like when you realized, oh my God, Elisa, you're actually going? Whoa! Yeah, like, okay, what was that moment like?
Oh my God. Okay. So this is me struggling to use technology properly. But so the results came out at 8 a.m. on the last day of school, in December, so like before Christmas break. And then my friend came in early to school to like see results with me. But basically at 8, I was struggling to see where the decisions came. I refreshed the page, I logged out like 20 things. I don't know what I did, but I wasn't doing very well. And then there was basically a button you had to press to get your decisions, but I didn't see the button. So I was just refreshing the page like why is there no result? So then I press yes, and then towards that point, like when you sort of just like you're like, yeah, whatever. That was the point I was at because I was like, this is not gonna get in anyway. You know what I mean? And then like a video starts playing, and I was like, what the hell? And then there was like it was like a train coming forward, and I was really confused. I thought it was like an ad or something for like I don't know, holiday. And then I saw the congratulations, and then I started screaming. And then this was just before most people in my boarding house woke up as well. So I might have woken up the whole house. And then one of my friends came down and was like, "Is there a rat? Why are you screaming?" So I got in, and then it was right after I came back from the gym as well, because I went to like distract myself because I was up all night, right? And like my hair was wet because I just had a shower. Like it was not a look because I was convinced I was gonna get in, right? And there was no point of like getting ready and looking pretty. Like what if I did all that and I didn't get in? That would be embarrassing. So I was like, we're gonna look dead and we're gonna go and we'll be fine. Then I got in and well, I mean TikTok plug again, but like it's on my TikTok, and then the Harvard admissions page reposted my video, which I thought was really cute.
Indeed. Wow. Okay. There seems to be, and wow, thank you for sharing that. there seems to be a commonality right here between people waking other people up right here. Like my last interviewee, Sarah, literally like also woke up everybody in her dorm right there. Like that's a thing. But you have
This is
every
what
right to do it because now you're
really
the main character. Wow, main character energy right here. NPC.
that girl, you know?
It's okay, Lisa. I'll be an NPC for you. All right then. All right then. Okay, so yeah, like, and I guess like your parents, and actually no, like, I don't even guess. Like I know for sure that your parents must be incredibly, like over the moon. Like even like right now in a whole bunch of different ways. But how did everybody around you like start reacting? If you were to like basically draw a graph basically right now, like with your hand or something, like showcasing the magnitude of the reaction right there, what would it look like?
Oh my God, it was like up there, like through the roof, like to space type. No, but I think as well, right? So, like, I think the week before decisions came out, I was the most annoying person ever. Like, I was on the phone crying to my mom every day, like, they're gonna reject me. I hate life. Why did I do this? And like, that was me the whole week. And like, everyone was like, bro, can you just shut the hell up? Like, stop. And then, like, once I got in, the first thing was like celebration, and then it was like relief that she would not hear me moaning for the rest of like my life. And then there was more celebration. It was really good.
Amazing. All right, well, cool. Like, and that energy, I'm sure, is going to continue right now. Also, as you kind of enjoy that time, getting to know the rest of your classmates as well. Actually, like before, I told you about some of your classmates. Like, did you know anybody else who was going to Harvard from Malaysia specifically? Because I know that, of course, like there's a whole like page where basically like people like introduce themselves and then be all like, oh, let me go right ahead and tell you about the universe right here. In fact, I may or may not have like one example right here. Hi, I'm Elisa from Malaysia.
Oh, you're
I'm sorry.
actually speaking me.
Yeah, yeah, it's the thing. So, hi, I'm Elisa from Malaysia. I'm super excited to meet everyone. I'm a massive Taylor Swift fan. Wow.
Yes.
Taylor, you see this right here? You need to give the girl the 22 hat on
Oh, yes,
Thursdays.
please.
Give the girl the
Oh,
22
100% taking the Taylor Swift course at Harvard as well. It looks so good.
hat. Wow, that's like casually like preempting something that I did not even know to ask about. But you're saying that there's a Taylor Swift course.
Oh, yes, it is. And it's like about English literature. So it links the work she's done to like classical works, which I think is really cool. Because like everyone sort of says, oh, Taylor Swift's just like, oh, all the teen girls listen to her. But like that sort of gives her like legitimacy. Yeah, like now I can say I listen to her because she's linked to Jane Austen or whatever. And I feel that's gonna be really good.
It's not just that, like she like this woman right here is like a figure in like Southeast Asian diplomatic crises. Did you
Oh
see
my
that?
God, the Singapore thing is mad.
Yeah, Singapore being all like, yeah, we're gonna go right ahead and yeah, have a monopoly agreement right there. You went through the
Gets.
gosh, but anyway, yeah. So amazing choice. I hope that you'll enjoy the class when you eventually go for that. Okay, cool. But yeah, so like, were there any other people that you knew of, like from Malaysia, like prior to like just a couple of days ago?
So I didn't know the other people who were in my class. Well, at least the two you told me of. I just found out the fourth person today. And it
Oh,
turns out I met her once before because we both interned for Undi 18 at the same time. So
wow.
that's a really
Okay.
funny coincidence. 'Cause I saw her on Instagram and she was like, hi, I'm from Malaysia as well. And I was like, hold up, I've seen that name before. And I click on it, I'm like,
Oh,
oh, it is her. And that was really cool.
I'm sure that you'll get the chance to, like have conversations with them. I'm sure that you'll end up in a newspaper article together, and your faces will always be like side by side. Like the format is always the same. Basically, every single one of you will submit a picture, and then basically, then like it'll be. Have you seen this before? I mean, like, have you seen this? You've seen this
Oh
before,
no,
right?
I've looked at them like religiously. I was like, okay, I'm gonna check myself. I'm gonna see what they've done. I'm gonna do that.
Oh,
I'm so prepared. Like I've seen every article.
you've seen every article. Okay, well, in that case, then I guess that you've seen this then. Yeah, look. Oh, there's a picture right there. Wow, all of you are gonna be like one after another. This is so amazing, right there. And then I don't know why this one says Harvard girls with a heart for Malaysia. I still don't know. But it is what it is. But yeah. Any thoughts really on like things that you will just immediately want to do like right after like you get off that plane or something of that nature? Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
Actually, yeah. Like thing that you'll do like right after you get off that plane. I don't know. Apart from wait, no, that's no. Go through immigration. What am I talking about? Like okay, um, okay. Um, first thing you'll do when you get to campus. Have you visited
Okay.
before, by the way?
One academic thing and then one sort of just American thing that I feel like I
Oh
have
yeah,
to
that makes
do.
sense. Oh yeah, yeah.
So I've never been to the States. But you know, like
Mm,
all the Instagram reels of like Raising Cane's, right? And like the crazy salsa chicken wings. I need
mm,
to try it. Like it just looks so appealing and I'm always craving it. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. And then I'm not sure it's actually academic actually. But in Harvard there's like the consulting club and the sort of debate club. And they I don't know, it just seems really cool to have that sort of vibe. Because I feel in Malaysia,
mm,
especially that culture isn't as strong. And like I've been trying to help rebuild it and like I know other people are trying as well. But sort of to have like the full culture, I think, in the US and experience that would be really cool. So
mm,
that's what I
mm.
would do at Harvard.
Do you have any like immediate short-term thoughts of like like things that you wanna achieve? I guess like at Harvard, like in the immediate, I guess like time when you eventually go there.
Ooh, okay. My friend's gonna love this one. I need to learn how to cook properly. So
Mm,
I'm known for being the person who can't cook. Like, I
mm.
tried to bake cookies for my friends once, and I somehow burnt the outside, and the inside was raw.
Oh.
And she ate the whole thing anyway because she was I don't know what she was doing. She knew they were bad, and she ate them anyway. And she had food poisoning. But one thing that they've been telling me that I need to learn to cook properly. I am not going to be the person who sets fire to Harvard. That's going to be a bit a bit there.
um,
So that's the short-term goal. Don't set fire to anything. Um,
um, molecular gastronomy, like that could be a thing right
oh my
there.
god, yeah, we should call it that. That's like the posh Harvard name for it. Molecular chemistry.
Yeah. Hi friends, like here's a huge plate of carbon. What's that? You don't like carbon? Um, can you rescind your admission for my future children? I don't know. Whoa, whoa, I'm sorry. That just came out spontaneously.
My god.
Okay, but long term, I guess.
Oh, well, I mean, at Harvard, like one of the main things I think I want to get involved in as well. Well, I guess it's not really involved, but I want to go to. So in Harvard, you're allowed to cross enroll at MIT. I just found this out like today in the group chat. But
Mm,
like, I want to sort of do some econs courses there because I feel Harvard's really good for the sort of more politics, humanities type stuff. But obviously, MIT has the rep for like the tech, sort of math, STEM stuff. So I
mm.
think go there would be really cool.
Ah, I see. Interesting. Well, before actually, somebody asked you a question that goes something like, "Do you vow to come back to Malaysia?" Something like unhinged like that. But like somehow I feel like you would approve because like unhinged, gets the person to Harvard. If you get one of those extreme people out there at Harvard right there, just know that it's your own fault. But well, so but yeah, like I guess like on a scale of like 1 to 10, where 10 is like almost certainly, oh my gosh, how could you even ask anything like that? Barua bangsa, gosh, disloyal to your nation. And one is like, oh my gosh, no, like what, run away or something of that nature. Like, where would you place your like sentiments of like, say, like wanting to come back or like not wanting to come back to Malaysia at some later point?
I feel like I can never fully leave, right? Like it's been a place I've been like here for ages. But I also do want to get some sort of work experience there first and sort of bring it back because I feel that's important. Because I feel
Mm,
like if you like come here and you stay here, there's gonna be that one perspective, but you're not gonna have the diverse experiences, which I think
mm,
like I'm going to the US, I might as well make the most of it. So I guess
mm.
on your skill thing, I really hate these skills. I'm gonna say maybe like an 8 or like a 9, sort of around there. Like I'm gonna come back but like I'm not sure how that's gonna transpire, I guess.
Ah, I see. Interesting. There's that proverb, maybe we can say, the one that goes like, if it belongs to you, then you can throw it away, and eventually, then Habibi, it will come back to you, or something of that nature. Yeah, something like that right there. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like, who knows? The channels of fate, they are diverse and they are wide, and who knows which particular one you'll go to. Okay, interesting. Of the range of possible career opportunities that you might pursue in Malaysia, is being a YB or the first female prime minister of Malaysia one of them?
See, I feel I'm a bit too unhinged to be a prime minister. Like, imagine someone's like trying to console the nation, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, guys, YOLO. Like, I don't think that's gonna go that well. Um, I feel potentially like going into politics would be something I would consider. I just don't see myself as the sort of figurehead because I feel I enjoy sort of being a bit not okay, not unhinged. We're gonna brand it in a nice way, a bit extroverted. I enjoy that a bit too much to sort of be that
Uh,
formal sort of person that you need. But definitely within politics, I think it's important to
okay,
like
I
to
see.
have that feel comfortable, just not the top job.
um, wow. YB Michelle, you can you can start like you can start grooming her right now. Maybe she will change her mind at some point. But okay, wow. Who knows? Maybe you'll become like Celeste's assistant. Do you know Celeste? Do you know of Celeste? You don't know of Celeste? Oh. Celeste, this is the second time that you're going to appear in one of my videos. This is great. Wow, wonderful. Okay, let me go ahead and show you our future great leader. So let's go. By the way, okay, but before that, a side question. Have you heard of this thing that's called US apps, and would you be interested to go?
Sorry, what?
Have you heard of this thing called US apps, and would you be interested to go? Like basically every single year there is this event that is essentially held by, well, Malaysian US alumni who have essentially come back from US universities or otherwise, and essentially they run a workshop each year to give advice, essentially in person, usually to a range of different like Malaysians. Had you heard about it at all before?
I don't think I've heard of that before.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right. Well, Celeste is going to be there. I don't know if you're going to be here, but well, that can be a conversation for a later time. Allow me to show you our great leader. Indeed.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. She hopes to be prime minister one day, and then she will be heading to, oh, trigger point, top higher learning institution, Stanford University. What
Oh, I have
what
beef
is?
with Stanford. I can't be talking to Stanford people.
Face of the leader right here. Or something of that nature. But who knows? Like maybe that'll be something that you might I guess do at some later point. Yeah. Um okay then. Well, kind of moving towards the end then. I guess like really randomly, like when you think about this rare opportunity, I guess that you've essentially gotten right in front of you, and the many things that no doubt will come along with it, in line with it, idea of fate right there. I guess, in your opinion, based on everything that you know, why you, why here, and not someone else at this point in time?
I ask myself that every day, to be honest. Like, because with my TikTok, when I saw people like uni application advice,
Hmm.
like I had a bunch of them message me results, and like there's like I think five of them who like I've seen as like equally deserving. Like I expected all of them to have the same shot, and some of them have bagged like three or four Ivies, which is insane. And then some of them haven't got any. And I feel like the US application system is such a lottery, right? And like, I mean, there's no point sort of going through like why it was me, why it wasn't me. Cause like, I mean, end of the day, it was some people in the room who just decided, yeah, her vibes chill. And I feel like my essays were like a big part. Like, surely they read that and were like, yes, that's the girl we need. Um, and I guess sort of
Hmm.
just instead of like wondering the whys and why nots, I feel apart from like that sort of being confusing, it also sort of leads to imposter syndrome because I think the second week after the decision, when I was like in the group chat with like everyone who got in, and there's some girl who like did an internship with NASA. There's someone who's like done some like crazy NGO charity project, and I was like, God, why me? Like, look at her. Like, what am I doing here? And so instead of thinking about that, just going, well, I have the shot, I might as well use it, I guess.
Okay, wonderful. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. So I guess then a question then to inspire the next generation. What message, I guess, would you want to leave for people who would want to, shall we say, like go on a similar path as you? apart from follow your TikTok, what is that again? Elisa underscore, what is it? Please say it out, say it out.
Elisa S_Y.
Elisa S underscore Y. It's also going to be on
Yeah,
the
that'd
it's
be
also
like
going to be on
big
the screen.
screen, like the
Yes, that's right.
To sum it up in like me terms, Delulu is the Solulu. I made my uni counselor stick it up on her wall, and she has. But like it has worked, okay? Trust, hear me out. So I messaged Dr. Ong, who's like he used to be in MITSI. I'm one of the ministers, a deputy minister, and I literally messaged like, "Hi, can I get an internship?" And like I knew full well like he probably wasn't gonna reply. He did reply. I did get a chance to not intern but do some research under him, and that really helped with some of my applications and sort of just formulating my writing skills and sort of
Mm.
just go out there like throw yourself out there. Like if they say no, they say no. Like you'll be sad for like 5 minutes and you'll be like, yeah, okay, who cares? Like sort of just keep sort of doing that, go through it and sort of just put yourself out there, like do crazy things.
Mm.
Like with my MUN thing, it started with me going on Reddit, being like, guys, I'm starting an MUN, join if you want. People did join and it became like a thing. So sort of just have your crazy little idea and sort of believe in yourself. Or even if you don't believe in yourself, do it anyway, because sometimes it works
Mm.
out.
Amazing, cool. Yeah. I mean, in a sense, like Delulu is the Solulu, yeah. I mean, in a sense, like, not making a choice is kind of a choice as well, but it's just the lame choice because time is gonna pass and nothing will happen. So, as it were. But all right, cool. Okay, Delulu is the Solulu. Great, great. Okay. And I guess is there anybody I guess that you potentially want to like and also like as we kind of like hit towards the end of the chapter, of course, I'm sure that there have been many people who are dear to you and who have gone along on this journey with you as well. Are there any particular like influencers, people that you want to like potentially shout out or like anything else of that nature as of the moment?
Well, obviously the first thing, like my parents, like dealing with me, like I don't know how they deal with it half the time. Like the amount of mental breakdowns I was having, like I don't know how. If someone was having that in front of me, I would tell them, "Bro, get out." Like I don't know how they dealt with that, and like the amount of support I felt after this getting in, like I feel like at points I got annoyed. Like I've literally been wearing like my Harvard merch like every day. Like surely they're sick of it, but like they're still really supportive of it, and like they sort of know that like I want to do sort of like a bunch of random things. And instead of saying like, oh, you need to figure out what you're gonna do in life, sort yourself out, you're like, yeah, go ahead. And I feel that's been really good to let me sort of become the sort of well, not good maybe, the crazy person I am today. But I'll let you judge that one. And well, my teachers as well. Like I feel the whole environment I've had, sort of my experience of learning has been so different. Like it's been sort of like talking back, not talking back, having discussions half the time, and so just having a chat in the classroom. And I feel that's made me like engage in all the subjects I do. So like at the start, I really hated English actually, but I think my teacher sort of would make us talk about it and sort of just do that. Like I've enjoyed it a lot. And also the random people like on TikTok who post like their college applications or the YouTube reaction videos, like all the free college advice, like all those people in general was such a big part of like what helped me get in because I didn't really know what I was doing. No one in my school
Mhm.
was like applied or got in before it. So sort of having that sort of older sister, older brother type vibe of like what I should be doing was really helpful.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. Any last words then, or things that you want to potentially like share with the audience?
Um oh actually yeah, this is like a good piece of advice I feel not enough people get.
Mm.
Um that really freaked me out. Was
It's funny that you say freak me out, but all right.
no, because I didn't realize you could apply like early to Harvard until last year maybe. But like towards the very end of last year, just like when I was starting writing my essays and everything. And I feel it's been really good because like if you find out you get in early, that saves you all the stress. Because I can't imagine having applied in January and finding out in March. Like that would have been too long for me to like deal with. Like November to December was bad enough.
Mm.
And so it sort of gives you, I think, a better shot at getting good financial aid. So from like, I'm not sure if it's true, like they say different things in the website, but from what I've got, like I've got a pretty good package for financial aid compared to some of the people who applied regular decision. But I'm not sure that's because of the FAFSA debacle this year. So that as well. And it sort of lets you, I guess, sort yourself out early because now I've been focusing more like just chilling on exam preparation. And like obviously if you have uni applications going on, you can't focus on that.
Indeed. Wow, okay. Yeah, and that is indeed your hashtag right there as you kind of like hang out right there, finish those final IB exams in a somewhat less stressful environment than you would otherwise be in, and a whole bunch of other things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, Elisa See, quantum mechanics extraordinaire, 1/600 digital SAT first attempt, student, Harvard student to be, class of 2028, incredible human being all around. A most grand thank you for being on this show right here. And yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
Likewise. Thank you.